So there seemed to be some confusion on checkpoint 1. I wanted to make sure everyone understood what they needed to do. You'll go into your project, so perspectives from the past, open up the checkpoint here. The tools that you're going to need to use are treaties in Washington State document. So have that open on a separate tab. And then you'll also want to open your Pear Deck guided lesson. And this one will start you from the beginning, unless you've gone through it before. I am feeling pretty good today. Conferences went well last night. All right, so this talks about, again, what you'll need to be opening. And so we can click through there. So you're working on all of these, and as you go through, it talks about the question that we're answering, and we're focusing on the first part. You were supposed to choose one of these that was the best fit for why were treaties made with Native Americans, and these are all quotes from WashingtonHistory.org. So we decided that the best one was this one down here. So you were to copy that, so Control C, and you're going to put it in the actual document. So it should be pasted in right here. So the goal was to secure necessary resources for building the railroad and to obtain land sought by ever-increasing stream of settlers following into the region or flowing into the region. And that actually came from this document, document A. So where it says, according to, and there was a line there, you could put the name of the organization, Washington State Historic Organization, or you could put, according to the article, Treaty Trail Background Readings. Either one of those would work. And the quote came from down here. So that's our evidence about why they wanted treaties. They were building a railroad, and they needed land for the settlers that were coming. So resources and land. So after you have your quote, you want to go to, put it in like we just did, and then the subclaim. The subclaim should normally be in your own words, but because this is an example one, you're going to use my example. And when you're looking for the one that was best when we talked about it in class, you can watch the video here to help you out and what to do. We did decide that this one doesn't work at all. This one's an okay one. This one is best. It has the right amount of explanation and details to help the reader understand what you're talking about. So we're adding that one in, and that one was pasted right here. So we're building up from our evidence, and then this is kind of introducing the reader to the idea that the evidence supports. It's not the exact same words. We give a little bit more background so the reader understands what's going on. And then to put this part in, to find this part, going back to here. And again, this is me, not the article that said this. So if you really wanted to be, 100% accurate, you would put parenthesis post-in and put quotation marks. But this is just example so you can see how you could write it if you were doing it. So it's not necessary. Moving on to the next one. See if your arrows down here. All right. So you could at this point go back and do your claim and your subclaim, and then write your main one. But I wanted to give you guys an example of a quality main claim. So I showed you how to do that in class. And we're looking at restating the question and answering all the parts without going into too much detail. So you're going to be talking about why were treaties made with Native Americans and what were the impacts without going into too much detail. And this one doesn't work because they wrote just the question over again. And then because of land and it was bad, very barely addressing any of that. This one, way too much detail. So this is the just right one. So you would copy that and you would put it in here. So the treaties were very one-sided, with most tribes losing the majority of their land and being moved to reservations. This is where you're working on your own now. This is the claim as I have put it. You can change it, but you want to say, hey, do I have evidence about the treaties being one-sided and most tribes losing the majority of their land or being moved to reservations? And so looking for your evidence. Now, it's not on here because this is where I want you to show that you're understanding what's going on. So this is where you start doing your own. So going in here and looking through these documents, I actually found that the best quotes I could find were down here in document C, where they talk about how much was lost. So I'm not going to copy and paste it, so you at least do a little bit on your own. But if we look back here on your subclaim and you're not sure what to put, this is when you have to write your own words. Look at what we did here. So the quote on this one was, the goal was to secure the necessary resources for building the railroad and to obtain land sought by ever-increasing stream of settlers flowing into the region. So we need to make a statement that this proves. So we have railroad and settlers, but we also need to connect it to treaties and the U.S. government, because our question that we're answering is why were treaties made with them? So settlers from the United States were coming to Washington to build their lives. We're set in context. To support them and to secure their claim on the territory, the U.S. government needed land and a way to transport goods easily. So they set out to make treaties with the American Indians living in the territory. So this is establishing why and explaining it in my own words with more than just repeating what is in the evidence. So you will need to look at the quote, look at the answer that you're trying to, question you're trying to answer. And what we have right now in the main claim is either going to have to work with what you put or it's going to have to change to what you put. Hopefully that helps clarify a little bit. Make sure that you have gone through again and actually read the information I put in here if you're lost. So you can go back and forth whenever you need to. Look at the steps we took for each one. And these two boxes are the ones that you will be getting feedback on. So does the claim answer the second part of the question? What were the impacts of these treaties? Does the evidence support your claim? And do they both connect with this part of the main claim? When you have it all, you want to request feedback.